I spoke to a few friends of mine I evacuated from Khartoum. I'm in the port city of Port Sudan, and I spoke to some friends this morning, and they said there's clashes, gunfights in Durman, which is another part of it. It makes up the capital. So by and large, like you said, the ceasefire is holding, but there will always be pockets of clashes or violence. And I think also one of the biggest issues coming up right now is the looting and ransacking of homes, because most people have evacuated from the city. So you have houses which are just empty. And I've heard of stories, people going back to their houses to try and pick up a few bits and bobs, their personal belongings. And they find the houses occupied by RSF soldiers. And so you're walking into your own home and it's being occupied by paramilitary troops. And they make it seem like they're being generous to you by allowing you in to pick up your belongings. So overall, it's just a messy, messy situation for everyone, especially.
You do hear that the RSF is bedding themselves in the homes. Do you think they are bedding down for a long battle?
I think they're playing a very smart, guerrilla warfare style of attacks, because they're embedded in residential neighborhoods. And even though a large number of people have managed to evacuate or head towards evacuation ports, there's still a lot of number of people who are unable to do that. So I think so unless you want mass number of casualties, it's going to be a very tough, conflict to somehow bring to an end, because I don't think they're planning on leaving anytime soon, the RSF. And I don't know how the army can counter that. I mean, unless they completely bomb every single household or every single building in the city, I don't know how they'll be able to get them out.
Yeah. Are there some form of negotiations taking place during the ceasefire to try and end this?
My understanding is from a number of sources of people I know. They said, diplomacy and negotiations have been on full throttle. They haven't let up, and pressure is being really brought onto both Hemeti and Burhan. But from my reading of the situation, there's no going back. I can't see them shaking hands and saying, okay, sorry, let's move on. But you never know. I mean, I always try to be a little bit optimistic. So I'm hoping that the diplomatic efforts will bring about a complete cessation of clashes. But you never know. It can take one rogue soldier from one side and everything goes off again.
And of course, as you say, not everyone is able to evacuate. So it must be coming, even during the ceasefire, it must be incredibly hard for aid agencies to get in there and supply much needed resources, food, medical aid.
There are no aid agencies. The ones who are actually helping those who are still stuck in Khartoum are the local resistance committees, basically youth within neighborhoods who are just, pulling their resources together and just trying to help. I mean, I have a friend whose father needs dialysis. They cannot find an ambulance to take him to hospital because there is no petrol. There's a huge shortage of petrol. They don't know. They can't take him. She's been talking to us and she doesn't know what to do, and we don't know how to help her. But there is no aid. There is no humanitarian aid coming through. Any aid that's coming through is from the resourcefulness of the resistance committees, local people just trying to do the best that they can with what little they have.
Yeah, it is just extraordinary. And you've just farewelled your sister, who is thankfully allowed to get out. Do you think many people are now looking at leaving Sudan permanently and not coming back?
I don't think there will be some people who will be leaving permanently. But I know, for example, in my family, my immediate and my extended family, we are coming back. I think we're just seeing it as it's a short-term solution that we get out. until things calm down. But we're coming back. I have no intention of staying away from my country. One way or the other, I will be back. If it means in a month's time or 6 months' time, I will be back. I think the onus is on us to try and rebuild, and we need to rebuild our country from scratch, basically. We have no other option. We have no other choice. And we can't leave it now when our country needs us the most.
And it's so heartbreaking when you consider, the revolution of 2019, the overthrow of the former president, who is now out of jail. He had been serving in jail alongside another former politician accused of war crimes. It feels that all the gains have been lost for the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it feels that way, but we always knew this was going to happen. I mean, it was no big secret. I mean, the Islamists, just because we removed the head, the body was still there, and the Islamists are still there. And this was always going to happen. But justice will always find a way to catch up with you. And he may have escaped now, Omar al-Bashir, but he's a known war criminal. And no matter where he goes, he will be caught. And we have to have faith that justice will be served, and him and all the others like him who committed such heinous crimes on us, their time will come. And I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Do you feel like the waters are being muddied on both sides as to who is actually going to have clean hands at the end of this?
Neither of them have clean hands. Their history speaks for itself. But at the end of the day, the Sudanese army is an institution. And so better the devil you know, so to speak. So when push comes to shove, the Sudanese people will stand with the army. And once the RSF is dealt with, I don't know how, but somehow they will be dealt with, then we can move on into talking about rebuilding, restructuring, reforming our government, our system, our civil society. And we just need to start from zero. I mean, we have no other options at this moment in time.
Yeah. How are you holding up? You're in Port Sudan. You managed to get away and out of Khartoum.
It's tough. You think it's easy, I'm thankful we're safe. We have a roof over our head. We're still at home, so to speak. But it's not easy because I keep thinking of our house, the things we left behind, the people we left behind, and it's just not easy. No one wants to leave their home, no one. And so the fact that we had to leave says a lot, because our hands are tied. We really had no choice, but it was either that or we take the risk of losing people close to us. So we had to leave. It's just, I don't know. It's just horrible.
Impossible choice, an impossible choice. And we feel so deeply for you. Stay strong, and hopefully we will watch it settle very soon. Dallia, thanks so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.